Sparkles, before we begin, don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe, because today's story will touch your heart in ways you'll never forget. Sparkles. The janitor stood frozen in front of the mirror, his mop still dripping on the polished marble floor of the CEO's office. He wasn't supposed to be here, not in a perfectly tailored suit, not with a trembling little hand clutching his sleeve. But today, he wasn't just a janitor. Today, he was pretending to be someone he could never afford to be, the CEO's fiancé. And what his daughter did that day changed everything. Ethan Cole had never been late to work, not once in 7 years of cleaning the towering glass building of Carter Enterprises. His co-workers often joked that he treated his mop like a loyal soldier. But truth was, that mop had kept food on the table for him and his 7-year-old daughter, Lily, ever since his wife passed away. Every morning before dawn, Ethan would wake Lily, fix her hair into 2 uneven braids, pack her lunch, and drop her at school before rushing to his night shift job. He never complained, not even when exhaustion burned his eyes or when his coworkers laughed at his worn shoes. Because every night, when Lily hugged him and said, "You're the best daddy in the world," the rest didn't matter. Until the day everything changed. It started when he accidentally walked into the executive conference room, thinking it was the storage area. Inside, he found Veronica Carter, the stunning, poised CEO of Carter Enterprises, known for her icy demeanor and impossible standards. She turned, startled, as he froze mid-step, holding his bucket. I'm sorry, ma'am. Wrong room, he stammered. But Veronica didn't scold him. Instead, she looked desperate, the kind of desperate that hides behind a flawless smile. "Wait," she said quickly. "You're Ethan, right? The janitor?" He nodded nervously. Then she said something that made his jaw drop. "I need a favor. It's ridiculous, but, would you pretend to be my fiancé for a night?" Ethan blinked, certain he'd misheard. I think you've got the wrong guy, ma'am. I'm just a janitor," she finished softly. "I know. That's exactly why you're perfect." That night, she explained everything. Her investors were flying in from London, powerful people who believed she was engaged. The lie had started as a harmless attempt to stop them from forcing her into a merger she didn't want. But now they were coming to meet the fiancé. She needed someone humble, kind-looking, and trustworthy. Someone real. Ethan hesitated. "Ma'am, I've never worn a suit. I don't even know which fork to use at dinner." Veronica smiled for the first time that night. "That's okay. I'll teach you." He agreed, not for money, but because she promised to donate to Lily's school fund. That was all that mattered to him. The next few days were surreal. Veronica hired a stylist, got him fitted in a navy blue suit, and taught him how to hold himself like a gentleman. "You don't have to be perfect," she said, fixing his tie. "Just be kind. People notice that more than fancy words." Lily watched in awe as her dad transformed. "Daddy, you look like a prince," she squealed, clapping her hands. He laughed, though his heart trembled. "It's just pretend, sweetheart. Daddy's still the same." But deep down, he felt something shift, like maybe, just maybe, he could be more. The night of the gala came. Crystal chandeliers sparkled, cameras flashed, and a sea of tuxedos and diamonds surrounded him. Veronica walked beside him, arm in arm, radiant and confident. To everyone's surprise, Ethan's simplicity became his strength. He spoke kindly to the waiters, complimented the chefs, and made people laugh. Veronica couldn't stop watching him, this man who carried humility like a crown. For the first time, she saw something real, something no millionaire ever gave her, warmth. But the magic shattered when someone whispered, "Isn't that the janitor?" The crowd buzzed. Investors frowned. Veronica froze. A young executive sneered, "A janitor pretending to be your fiancé?" Really, Veronica? How pathetic. Ethan lowered his head, humiliated. He wanted to vanish. But before he could speak, a small voice cut through the murmurs. It was Lily. She had slipped into the event, clutching a small drawing in her hand. She ran straight to him, stood tall, and shouted, "My daddy is not just a janitor. He's my hero." The room fell silent. She held up her crayon drawing, Ethan in his janitor uniform, holding her hand beside a castle made of stars. "He cleans so I can dream," she said tearfully. "And that makes him the richest man in the world." Even Veronica's eyes glistened. Ethan knelt, hugging his daughter tight, whispering, "You shouldn't have come here, sweetheart." "I wanted them to know who you really are," she whispered back. Veronica turned to the crowd, her voice trembling but strong. "She's right. He's more honest and good-hearted than anyone in this room. And yes, I lied, but this man reminded me what integrity looks like." The investors softened. Some even clapped. But it was Veronica who wept later that night, not out of shame, but out of realization. For years, she had hidden behind power, but that night she saw what real worth looked like. Weeks later, she called Ethan into her office again, not as a janitor, but as a partner. "I want to start a new initiative," she said. "Scholarships for workers' families. Anne. I want you to help me lead it." Ethan blinked. "Me? Yes. Because people like you remind us what heart looks like in a world full of suits." He accepted. Not for pride, but for Lily. That night, as they walked home, Lily tugged his hand and whispered, "Daddy, does that mean you're really the CEO now?" He laughed softly. "No, honey. I'm just your dad. That's all I ever want to be." Months later, at the company's annual dinner, Veronica stood on stage and said, "The best thing I ever did was ask a janitor to pretend to be my fiancé. Because in doing so, I found something real, family, hope, and humanity." The crowd applauded, but it was Lily's proud smile that said it all. And as Ethan looked up at her, tears welled in his eyes. For the first time in years, he didn't feel invisible. He felt seen. Sparkles, if this story touched your heart, don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe, because every ordinary person has an extraordinary story worth hearing. Sparkles.